All right, guys, here we are. Third time's a charm. We're having a bit of connection issues with Jonathan's location in the beautiful jungles of Colombia. You know what they say. There's no Wi-Fi, but guaranteed you'll find a better connection, right? So, third time's a charm. I think we figured out the issue, and let's roll with it and see how this one goes. So John will be hopping on here in just a minute, and then we'll tell you guys what's going on. It's the first of a series of Fight Move Flow live Wednesdays, and we're going to be doing these every other Wednesday, covering different topics about the Fight Move Flow retreat. And so when John hops in here, we'll give you guys a little more details and start going with that. So the topic of the first one is going to be frequently asked questions, and yeah, let's see how it goes. So hang tight, and John will be hopping on in just a minute. All right, John's now on. Let's go ahead and invite him in.
Welcome, welcome.
All
Third
right.
time's the charm. What's up?
Third time's the charm. Oh, looks
Now it
like we
sounds
got
good,
Coach
yeah?
Cook today. Yeah, that sounds perfect. We got Coach
Okay,
Cook Nate in the building. What up, homie?
excellent. And it looks
All
like
right.
I'm a little easier to see here, so that's good.
Yeah, the lighting is much better as well. So perfect.
Okay,
All right, guys. So
perfect.
yes, third time's the charm. We're having a little connective issues on the first two because, as we said, John's in the beautiful jungles of Colombia, and you know how it goes. There's no Wi-Fi, but guaranteed a better connection.
That's one of the that's actually one of the signs at Reserva Natural Safra Nature Reserve, where we're going to be offering this event. It actually says that, yeah. It says the
Actually, I remember
Wi-Fi
that.
isn't
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good, but that allows you to have a better connection. So
Exactly. Exactly.
there we go.
All right, guys. So hopefully we're coming in clear this time. So far, so good. Again, this is the first in a series of Fight Move Flow live Wednesdays. We're going to be doing these every other Wednesday, and we're going to have a new topic each live. And this one, the topic is frequently asked questions. And before we hop into that, we're going to do some quick bios and quick overview of the retreat. And then we'll hop into the questions that you guys have been asking about it.
Shout out to our man, Nate.
That's right. Shout out to Nate
Moving
for
at
hooking us up with
Denver.
these Moving at Denver.
Woo!
That's right. Awesome.
Nate, we've got
All
a rapé for you here when you're down.
right. The rape, indigenous medicine.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and
Okay.
hop in with a bio, John.
Yeah, okay. So this is a third time giving this, so third time's a charm, hopefully. My name's Jonathan Lang, and I'm a human being first. Okay, so what's that? Well, that's this body that can move, that can breathe, that can feel nature. Yeah. So if we're gonna go into my biographical story, then we could say that I'm an Iraq War veteran. I'm a MoveNat team instructor, which means that I deliver the MoveNat certification events. And I'm also an Animal Flow Level 2 instructor, as well as a Czech Holistic Lifestyle coach. I've also done various certifications, trainings, facilitations throughout the years. I'm hearing about my lighting. So let me see if I can fix it. Let's see.
That's better. That's good right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And so suffice to say, since Iraq in 2005, I've been coaching, training, facilitating in various contexts, various situations. I actually trained the Iraqi army in Baghdad in 2005, 2006. And that was where I really realized in the army that I love teaching people, I love training people, I love coaching people, facilitating people, watching people grow. Yeah. And in the army, it was high stakes, of course. We were in Baghdad during the Iraqi civil war, during the so-called insurgency. And it was high stakes, it was highly physical, it was also highly mental. And in that situation, I learned the importance already of our connection of mind and body for the best performance possible. Yeah. So then after that, I went on to teach various fitness modalities and combat sports, boxing. I actually managed a boxing gym in East Harlem. And we can fast forward a bit to 2016, 2017, when I found MoveNat after already having a bunch of other certifications. And for me, MoveNat really spoke to what I was doing at the time, which was and still is called Mindful and Moving, which is this kind of focus on connecting mind and body, but not just in a way that says body has to be, we can only do these kind of very slow movements, just closing our eyes and feeling into it, although that's excellent. And we're going to do this in the event, of course. But also this connection of mind and body to the importance of physical effort and challenge, right? That doesn't necessarily have to be something different from mindfulness. And in fact, it can actually enhance our mindfulness. And so a great way to do that, and I found maybe the best way to do that, is Mother Nature, right? Moving in Mother Nature. And MoveNat as a system for helping us to do that at higher levels of complexity, to become more effective, efficient, and adaptable in Mother Nature, but also carry that back into our day-to-day lives. So I've done various natural movement oriented retreats, events, immersions, team buildings with organizations, healing processes that also involve some ancestral medicines. I've done now more than 10 different events of this sort. And this event in specific is super interesting for me because we're going to get to really go deep on these connections between MoveNat, animal flow, and combative / self-defense applications. So super happy to turn it over to Nate and hear his bio, and we can go deeper into all of it.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, for me guys, the spark was really ignited with high school wrestling. I Before that, it was just typical standard American way of living, diet, all that stuff. And high school wrestling really ignited something in me through challenge, right? I love the challenge of it. And, I won my first three masters and just got my ass handed to me for the rest of the year. And I enjoyed it. It was good. It was fun. And so yeah, and so that ignited the spark that led me down a path of movement practices. I went through parkour, took up boxing and MMA, Tai Chi and Qigong and yoga. And so I was like in this nice balance of like these Eastern and Western practices. And I tried all these things, capoeira, and then led into parkour, which led right into MoveNat, right? Um, and again, I found MoveNat in 2013, and I knew once I found it, like, this is it. This was like the most complete system I'd found, as pretty much, everything in one, right? It's the full spectrum of natural human movement. And so yeah, I dove deep into MoveNat, started getting certified in 2014. went through all 5 of their certifications, became a MoveNet master trainer, um, got onto their online coaching team, and now, just like John, also on the team of instructors. So now, not just hosting workshops and retreats and privates and group classes, but now we're also getting into certifications to create more MoveNet certified trainers. Um, so yeah, it's been a great journey with MoveNet, and throughout that time, I found another passion of mine, which is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in 2015, and yeah, that's been a great journey too. There's the struggle. Again, I love the struggle of it and the growth, the wins and the fails, the successes and the learnings. And yeah, so been training that and coaching that as well, because I was already a MoveNet coach. So I came in knowing how to coach movement. And so not too long into my jiu-jitsu journey, I started coaching jiu-jitsu classes as well, because it transferred pretty well. And then, so now 6+ years of training, purple belt and coach, I just completed the Gracie instructor certification program. Really intense, really in-depth program for teaching the Gracie Combatives curriculum. That curriculum, the core curriculum, 36 street-ready techniques, the most highly effective, most highly utilized, and highly successful techniques for self-defense. The same curriculum they have in our Army Combatives, which John did, and anyone in the Army has done. That we teach, and so I'm looking forward to taking these 2 passions of mine, combining them together in this retreat, and also combining them with another one of John's specialties, animal flow. So it's going to be a nice synergy of Gracie Combatives, MoveNet, Natural Movement, also MoveNet Combatives, and then animal flows. Let's go ahead and let's start talking a little more about the retreat.
Yeah. So, as I had mentioned in the previous 2, as I had mentioned in our previous lives that we had done, both a couple weeks ago and also just now, my training of MoveNet was held within a context of a system called MoveOr, which was created by my first MoveNet teacher, who's also a MoveNet team instructor, Oki Alexander. A big shout out to Oki. Just talked to him last night over in Shanghai. He's doing great, and it was great to catch up with him. His blessing is definitely here in what we're doing. And the system that he created, MoveOr, is really a kind of synthesis of MoveNet with animal flow, with embodied insights from human developmental psychology, right? So it's called the definition of natural movement within MoveOr is playful, practical, expressive movement, right? Which involves the practical, we're talking pure MoveNet right there. And that is the foundation, but then also integrating elements of opportunities for greater expression in a communicative way through animal flow, yeah? So this practicing MoveNet within this context of really looking at different ways to use games for learning opportunities of the movement skills, but also for greater connection to self, others, and nature. And then also having the element of animal flow for greater opportunities for expression is what led me to begin to see these as in many ways one thing, although they are separate, certainly from an organizational standpoint, from an educational / certification standpoint, they're of course separate. But for me, I've found that integrating animal flow into my MoveNet ground movement practice has been incredibly helpful, right? Because in many ways, animal flow is I'd say it is in many ways a kind of simplified and pared down version of many of the basic ground movement positions and transitions that we have in MoveNet. I would say simplified, pared down, but also stylized. So, and then adding in some elements of other disciplines, and that's a whole, that's a whole other conversation how that was created. But long story short, Animal Flow synergizes really well with our ground movement practice in MoveNet, which is really the base of MoveNet, our ground movement practice, which is also where it connects with jujitsu the most, right? For practicality's sake, for jujitsu practitioners, this is where the things kind of come together. So yeah, that's a bit about that. The idea really here is to look for and explore and practice and learn and take home synergies between these seemingly separate practices of MoveNat / natural movement and Animal Flow and MoveNat combatives, which is not separate from MoveNat at all, but with the Gracie combatives, right? So doing all of these different practices, I'd say, in many ways within a natural movement framework, but looking for these connections so that people can get the most out of it, no matter if they are they consider themselves specifically a MoveNat practitioner, specifically an Animal Flow practitioner, specifically BJJ or self-defense practitioner, giving people opportunities to find those hidden to maybe the outsider eyes connections that actually can supercharge and optimize and enhance their own practice.
Yes, yes, exactly. So that's the idea, guys. We've created this curriculum. We've co-created this retreat with these 3 disciplines in mind to help enhance each other. So if you practice one of the 3, or even 2 of the 3, or none at all, each practice will enhance the other, right? And I've experienced this firsthand. When I got into jiu-jitsu, I already had a solid MoveNat foundation, natural movement foundation, and my jiu-jitsu just skyrocketed so quickly because I was familiar with all the movements. I had the mobility and the strength. It just helps a lot, and each of these practices will help the other. Your jiu-jitsu will help your MoveNat and your Animal Flow. The self-defense skills will, right? The MoveNat will improve your jiu-jitsu, and your Animal Flow practice and your Animal Flow practice will improve your MoveNat and your Gracie Jiu-Jitsu practice. And so
absolutely,
that's the idea here. And so yeah, we for more info, go to nateamato.com/FMF, and that'll bring up the full details of the retreat. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into those frequently asked questions that people have been asking us. We have a few listed on the site, but we also got some other ones sent to us. So let's go ahead and start with a few that we have written down already.
Yeah.
So the first one we have is, do I have to be fit to participate, right? This is a very common one. And a few of the questions that came in were essentially that question, just worded a bit differently. So I'll go ahead and just read a few of those questions as well, because they're pretty much the same question, just in different words. One of them was, how much MoveNat and how much prep does someone have to do? They're in Arizona and they're fit, but they're not MoveNat fit. And they're fit, but they're not jiu-jitsu fit, right? So do they need to prep before? Okay. And the other question was, what is the intensity of the training? I feel like I won't be able to keep up, right? And that person was a projector. And if you're familiar with the human design system, you'll know what that means. I'm also a projector, so I feel you. So yeah, John dropped the link in the comments, so check it out. But for this question, basically the idea is, do I have to be fit to participate? And we'll answer the nuances also of the other 2 follow-up questions. Do you want to talk about that, John?
Yeah, so the idea of this event is to meet people where they're at. That's the most important fundamental underlying principle of what we're doing. Yeah, it's to meet people where they're at. We're not interested I'm not, at least, and I don't think Nate is either. We're not interested in being, movement elitists. We're just this small little group of people that, just we just move the way we move, and if you don't get it, it's not for you, and all this. It's not for us. That's not for me, at least, right? Actually, I want to help as many people as possible to be able to practice more natural movement for greater health, power, and freedom. Yeah, as the book, The Practice of Natural Movement states, right? That's my aim. I think that's Nate's aim. That's the aim of MoveNat, and we're going to carry that over with Animal Flow. The idea there is movement for everybody. Fun little play of words, everybody, right? They capitalize the B in body, everybody. And as far as I know, I practiced jujitsu in the Army and U.S. Army combatives, and that system, that the Gracie combative system, was chosen because it is the system that can reach and be taught to and be most practical, most effective for the largest amount of people. That was why that was chosen, right? So, long story short on this, we're going to work to make sure that the dose, so to say, or the stimulus or the training, the technique of what we'll be doing will be meeting the people that are in this event where they are at, scaling as necessary, taking safety precautions, adding in extra safety precautions as necessary, all the way from when we are just practicing simple ground movement to when we're working with the combatives elements to when we're out moving there in Mother Nature. We're going to be making sure that people are safe. So you need to be wherever you're at. I will say that it's very important that people who come have maintain an open stance, an open posture about different practices, maybe from whatever is their core practice. So if I'm a BJJ guy, for example, I know this is common in martial arts, but it can also be very common in movement, is that like whatever I do is the best thing, and that's it. That's okay. That's great. It is great. And we're looking for connections and synergies, right? And the same thing with our MoveNat community, and the same thing with Animal Flow folks. I find Animal Flow people tend to be a little more fluid with this kind of thing, a little more flexible, but that's just, you find interesting people at any group. So just keeping in mind that openness and openness and willingness and determination, decision to learn, to practice, to expand, to get better, they are necessary. So we don't require any level of physical fitness, but we do ask openness, willingness, disposition to try to go there, to explore those places that are a little outside of our comfort zone, because that's where we can learn. So that's my answer to that.
So guys, basically we co-created this experience to be for people of all skills and all fitness levels, right? No matter where you're at, we're going to find a progression to meet you where you're at and give you the amount of challenge you need to grow, right? For your personal. So for the more specifically, the question that followed up with, do I need to prep before? The answer is not necessarily, but what we are doing to help you with that is we're providing 6 live sessions before the retreat to help you prep, right? So this is for those who sign up before August 10th, right? Who sign up with the early bird. You're going to get 6 live sessions with us to help prepare you for the retreat. We're going to give you the basic foundations, make sure, see where you're at, right? And then help you get the foundations you need to be prepared as best as possible for the event. Yep. And then so the other nuance in the question was, what is the intensity of the training? I feel like I won't be able to keep up in the other question. So the intensity, as we said, we're going to be able to scale that intensity for you, right? What we're starting with is the absolute foundations in all 3 disciplines. So it's very foundational. And then from there, if you're ready, we'll allow you to scale up that intensity. We'll give you the progressions you need to grow, to challenge yourself, right? But we're going to be starting with that base level foundation in all disciplines. Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Anything you want to add to that before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, just that people come like I feel is optimal for any learning or personal growth or personal exploration process. Again, that people come open, that people come willing, that people come ready to explore those areas a bit outside of their comfort zone, because that will grow their comfort zone. And that will, in some
Yes.
sense, grow them as a person. That will help them to grow. So that's where we learn. So that's the most important.
Yeah, guys. You literally can't grow unless you're open. You have to be
Yeah.
open and willing to learn. Otherwise, you're just going to be shut down and you're going to shrink and contract, right? If you want
Yeah.
to grow, you need to open.
Yeah.
It's literal and metaphysical and all that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I see that a lot too in the BJJ community. There's a lot of like, this is the only way, and this, and you know, they have a valid point sometimes, most of the time, but you can't be dogmatic. You got to be willing to learn. Even like people will say, you know, there's even divisions within the community. Like this type of
Right.
BJJ is better than this one, and that one over there is like you can't learn. Jiu-jitsu online is a common one, and then all of a sudden everyone realizes, oh, you can, and then everyone's releasing instructions. But yeah, anyways, it's funny.
That's no, and in general, that's where all the good stuff comes from. Challenging dogmas is where all the good stuff comes from, right? Because if we're already, yes, tradition is important. Tradition has a place. Traditions exist because they worked for some reason, right? But traditions themselves were always a challenge to the tradition that existed before. And they're always a kind of transcend and include, so to say, of the tradition before. Even if the new tradition says that the old one just sucks, that's mouth stuff. That's talk. But the truth is, they still somehow learned from the earlier tradition, right? This is just something throughout time, right? So the idea here really is finding ways to transcend in some sense, and this, some people might not like this. Okay, that's fine. Great. You have your truth. I love it. And this is my truth. That a big part of the idea here is to kind of transcend and include these three practices that we have. In other words, we have combatives, Gracie combatives, right? Slash MoveNat combatives. So you're already integrating there. That's another integration already in that, right? And then we have the MoveNat, and then we have the animal flow. And the idea is to transcend and include these three seemingly disparate practices. Transcend meaning like being able to look at all of them from a higher level, but then include meaning get the best out of all of them, right? And, you know, sometimes that kind of thing can be seen as and even experienced as and even be in reality a bit haphazard when people try to mix too many things at once. But in this case, we already have years and years and years of experience of doing this sort of thing. And we've already found the pitfalls and where these things connect to get the most out of each practice, and then how to get the most out of the connections between them to create a more holistic practice to help us be more holistic, feel more holistic, live more holistically. So
Exactly. I like that. That was well put. Yeah. So we're coming up pretty close on the 30-minute mark. Let's go ahead and just kind of rapid fire these next questions and move through them quick. Do I need to have experience in all three disciplines to get something out of this? Simply put, no. Having experience in any of one of these disciplines will be helpful, of course, right? You'll be familiar. You'll pick things up quicker and you'll be able to add on layers to it and grow quicker. But really, as John has already said, all you really need is a willingness to learn and have fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Totally agree.
Um, and then if you want to add anything, just throw it in.
Yeah. Quick thing I will add there is also, even for the advanced practitioner of any of these disciplines,
Yep.
combatives, MoveNat, animal flow, they will still stand to gain a lot by the cross fertilization, even if, where we're practicing in their discipline is, at their level. Well, one, they're going to get, first off, for MoveNat people, they're going to be on their edge no matter what, because where we're going to be practicing we're going to be practicing in a natural environment that will offer ample opportunities to do stuff that for sure you still cannot do. And that maybe when you come here, you will grow into being able to do that. That's guaranteed for my MoveNat folks, right? So that's one
Yep.
thing. For my animal flow people, so maybe you're excellent at animal flow. Maybe you're already going to be ready to pass this upcoming level 3 that Mike created. And that's excellent. And now we're going to teach you how to take those skills that you've learned through animal flow and apply them to help you to connect through nature, to connect with nature through the practice that you already have. Add in some extra tools from MoveNat, and then also to help you to be more, let's say, real world ready with the tools that you already have through animal flow. So you're going to get something out of it as well. And then the same for our BJJ people. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add
Yeah.
that yes, we're going to meet
That's
everybody
great.
where they're at. We're going to make this really simple for the people who need it that way, and that's good. And we're going to scale it for everybody. But if you're advanced and you think, oh, well, then I don't need that. No, wrong. You're going to get challenged here if you're ready to get challenged. So that goes back to the openness, the willingness, and the ability to expand into our uncomfortable spaces to make them comfortable because we grow. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were just talking about this in the instructor certification program Zoom call on how often the highest level BJJ athletes, black belts in and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, will come to a beginner level Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Combatives class and learn something, even if the teacher is a blue belt, a certified instructor, blue belt, will still learn something from that blue belt because there's details in the Gracie Combatives curriculum that even black belts who have never done the Gracie Combatives curriculum have saw before.
Right.
So even if you're a high level BJJ practitioner, you're going to learn something from Gracie Combatives if you've never done it. And not only that, you're going to learn a lot from MoveNat on how to strengthen your joints and get a stronger mobility and flexibility and strength uh, throughout your whole body, right? Because we do whole body movement. And animal flow too, you're going to be doing these ground movements that will improve your strength. Because we know one of the most common things in most BJJ schools is injuries, right? So these things will help with that, prevent that. And also you're going to get the flow aspect from animal flow, which is huge in jiu-jitsu. You need to be able to flow jiu-jitsu to get to those high levels of efficiency, right?
Yeah, I would add that for BJJ / self-defense practitioners, this is going to help to anti-fragilize, so to say, your practice.
Yes.
Right? This is going to help you immensely with your injury prevention and also your adaptability, your ability to carry your practice into more context. So
Exactly. So yeah, beginner practitioners in all practices, we got you. We got the foundations. Advanced level practitioners in all these practices, we got you. We'll progress it no matter where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. And that kind of ties into this next question. Is this event suitable for everyone? And again, like we've been saying, yes, it is. The approach is universal. Movement is universal. And of course, everyone's going to have their situation, right? And we have biological differences, cultural, this, that, the other thing. We're going to have all these differences, and we're going to be able to adapt these disciplines to your specific situation. Um,
Yeah.
and a follow-up question, some parents uh, will have or have had is that they want to know if this event is suitable for their kid, right? And so we've decided that a parent or guardian has to be present if their kid is 10 to 17 years old. They're allowed to come just with a parent or a
Yeah.
guardian.
Yeah.
And with that said, we know age, um, there's different maturity levels. So if you feel like your kid's more mature, but just a little younger in age, just reach out and we'll connect and we'll talk and we'll see if this event is suitable for your kid.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. It's gonna be case by case. So,
Case by
but
case
we're
basis.
definitely,
Yep.
we had in the MoveNet Reconnect that Nate and I that I facilitated. Nate was there; he
Yep.
facilitated as well. Um, in that event, we actually had a 10-year-old.
Yep.
So now he's a 10-year-old who lived at that time. He lived here, and he had been already training with me out in the wilderness. So he really did know the deal, so to say. But we
Yep.
will explore possibilities for anybody who would like to bring a younger child. Um, anything 10 and up, we're open, and we'd love to explore that. So, yeah.
Yep. And on the other spectrum, we had the 10-year-old at the Movement Reconnect retreat. We co-taught, and on the other spectrum, we had what was it, 70 or 80-year-old,
Yeah.
something like that. And she was hanging, and we had things for her to do. We had
Yes.
progressions. And we had everything in between, right? There's nothing we couldn't adapt to, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And so, next question: what are the risks of this event? And feel free to hop in at any point. So, of course, in training in nature, you live there. I know I got there. Uh, there's always going to be a risk training in nature. That's just the real world, right? But with that being said, we are going to challenge you to go beyond your comfort zone, but we're going to do it in a safe, progressive way. So all of our training is going to start in the dojo, so to speak. We're going to train these movements, these techniques, these disciplines in a controlled manner, and then start to integrate them, apply them into the real world, right? Out in the jungle, in the river, in
Yeah.
the rocks, in the trees, right? And
Yeah.
depending on the movement, right?
Yeah.
What we like to say is the main risk is that you have too much fun and you won't want to leave.
Yeah. That's actually Colombia's one of Colombia's tourism taglines is
Yeah.
the only risk is that you want to stay. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen that. I've actually
Yep.
seen that happen here. So
That,
people who came and they decide they want to stay longer and all this. Um, but
well,
yeah,
that's what
risks.
happened with
There
you,
are
right?
risks. Yes, that's what happened with me. Here I am. American, and here I am. With that said, there are risks. We're going to be training in nature. There are snakes. There are spiders. There are slippery, unexpected slippery things that we can slip and fall. So we're going to we're already well aware of the risks and dangers that exist. And we're going to work to minimize and mitigate those risks through our training, through cautions that we're going to take, through guidance to make sure that that is as minimal as possible. With that said, there are always risks in any kind of movement practice, one, and two, in nature, there are risks. And that's a part of expanding out into the uh, outside of our comfort zone. That is a place where we can grow. I do not want to try to sell this as that you're not going to come up against any kind of thing that challenges you, because you will. Everybody will, wherever they're at. Everybody will find something to be challenged, and we will again adjust the dose of stimulus and challenge as necessary. But there will be things that are challenging. But people will always have an option to opt out, to take alternatives, and to be helped wherever they need to be helped. So yeah, there are risks, and there are already plans and practices put in place in advance to mitigate and minimize those. Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. So another question, people for people who are busy or they have something before or after, um, that want to know, do they have to stay for the whole event? Do you want to talk on that?
Right. So we just ask that people come for the beginning, and from there, um, people are free to leave when they would like, and we can work with that on a case by case basis. But we do ask that we don't, we prefer that people don't drop in on like the fourth day, right? Because
Right.
it is going to be building from the beginning. So we do
Yeah.
ask that people get there. You know, there's day zero, which is the first night, and then we
Yeah.
have the first daytime practice. We ask the people at least make it by the first day. If they can't make it for the
Yeah.
first night, okay, but we do ask that people get there by the first day, and then
Yeah.
after that,
And
it's up to you.
yeah. And even if you miss a day or two, for whatever reason, you're still going to gain a lot out of this retreat. We just ask you to be there for the beginning so you can get the most, so you can start with the foundations with all of us together and grow together.
Yeah, and also
If you,
if you need a quick thing, if you need to take a, you know, you need to take a day in the middle or something like that, that's okay too. But we
yeah,
do want you there for the first day.
yeah.
So if you need to take day
And
three and do some project, you know, step away, go walk in the woods by yourself or whatever you want to do, that's fine. Just
yeah,
we really want you to be there the first day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Remote workers, if you got work to do, you know, you get slammed with some work, it's fine. Just go just hit in the Wi-Fi spot and do your work and hop
Yeah.
back in when you're ready. So yeah, if you need to shorten your stay, guys, or lengthen your stay, you like it so much you want to stay longer, or you want to come earlier, you can do that too. Just shoot us an email, and we can arrange the accommodations for you to stay at Zafra
Yes.
longer. So next question, what's the refund policy? We made this real simple, guys. It's 70% 90 days out, 50% 60 days out, and non-refundable 30 days out. It's on the landing
Yes.
page, so you can see. Um, we got that up there already. And in case it gets postponed for whatever reasons, unforeseen circumstances, something out of our control, um, you have the option to join the next retreat when we reschedule it at the future date, or receive a full refund.
Yeah.
Since all the food is included, what if I have a dietary restriction? Uh, so you know more about Zafra. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. That we can accommodate all dietary needs at Zafra. Um, it would be for vegans, vegetarians, it's quite easy. We're already well set up for that. For people who are more uh, animal based or carnivore, we can also work things out there. What we would like to do is just have a little talk with you and see what you actually what you need, so that we can give you what you need and not give you things that aren't for you. So yeah, since
Yeah.
vegan and
So yeah,
vegetarian, those ideas have been around for a really long time. That's pretty easy. We have that really covered well at the venue that we're at. Because animal based and carnivore, some people have different ideas about what is what. Also paleo. We'd like to speak with you more specifically for what you can and cannot uh, have, and then yeah, we can work from there.
yeah, guys, the menu is naturally very primal paleo, very everything's
Yeah,
local, organic, high quality, straight from the farm. You see the animals, running around. It's very, very,
yeah.
very good stuff. Gluten
Yeah.
free. That's easy to do.
Gluten free,
And yeah,
not processed, low level of processed food. So
exactly. Very, very high quality stuff. I enjoyed every meal I had there.
yeah,
And the the ladies in the kitchen are amazing. They're awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up. How do I get to the location? You want to talk about that, John?
Yeah, so we will have a bus to pick you up from Medellin Airport the day before. Um, we're still determining the time. That's still
Mhm.
something that we're working on, the exact time that can work for the best time for the most people, because there will be one bus. Um,
Mhm.
depending what time your flights are, you may, if you want to go with us, we may ask that you hang out in Medellin Airport for a little bit, but that's fine. It's an airport, you know, there's lots of restaurants and cafes, just lots of lounging areas. So, and everybody speaks some degree of English. Maybe not a whole lot, but they're used to speaking with people who don't speak Spanish. So that will be fine if you end up waiting in the airport. You know, you just maybe block out like, okay, I'm going to work on something that I have or read a book or whatever you like to do to take some time for yourself. That could be a good opportunity for that. But yeah, we'll be picking people up from Medellin Airport on the afternoon of the 10th. So,
Yep.
and then we'll be coming out here. We're about 3 hours from Medellin Airport out here.
Yep.
And
So yeah,
that's a
guys.
fun ride
Yeah, it's a fun ride. It's a long, windy road through the
to the
beautiful
mountains. Yeah.
to the mountains. So yeah, that'll be Wednesday, November 10th. We'll be picking you up from the airport in the afternoon, and then also bringing you back Monday, November 15th, and expect to arrive there in the afternoon also.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, just
And then
plan your
from
flights
there, if you
accordingly.
want to also, you know, there's the option to, if you want to stay in Colombia, go check out the city of Medellin. Or if you want to
Yep.
stick around here, then, you know, we can talk and I can help you to either stay where we're at in Zafra or some of the
Yep.
other ecotourism stuff close by. I can set that up. And you could do that before. Of course, that means you'll find your own way to get out here. I can maybe help you with that a bit. Um, and then if you want to stay longer, then I can help you to figure out, you know, what you want to do staying here. You might even, you know, figure out a situation where you can go explore by yourself some of the places and things that we did in the retreat on your own. So it can be a good way to deepen your practice. So whatever you're looking to do, we can help you with that. We can have it covered, but we'll have a definite group transportation from Zafra back to the airport as we finish the retreat on the 15th.
Yep. Yeah, guys, and it's a beautiful place to hang. I'm going there early. I'm gonna stay a little later than the
That's a good
retreat,
idea.
and yeah, it's a good idea. If you're interested, I recommend it. All right, guys, cool. That was all the questions for today. If you have any other questions, be sure to email us. Check out the landing page first for the event. It's nateamato.com/FMF. The link is in my bio if you're on Instagram. I'll drop the link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, guys, if you have any questions, just reach out and we'll be sure to help you out. And looking forward to seeing you guys at the retreat.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what we live for. So
yeah,
super exciting.
absolutely. Yep, yep. All right, guys. So this is the first in a series of Fight Move Flow live Wednesdays. The next one will be in 2 weeks. All right, guys. See you
Excellent.
on the next one. All
Okay,
right.
see you
Bye bye.
FMFers.
See you, FMFers.